This is The Gorge. It's a podcast where all of us get together and we gorge ourselves and talk about video games and entertainment.
The Gorge is brought to you by Patreon. That's patreon.com/thegorge. Wait, why don't I have wiggles?
We're for just $15 a month.
Wait.
You have wiggles on my side, it's fine.
Oh, okay. Hey, as long as I have wiggles on you guys' side. Anyways, The Gorge is brought to you by Patreon. That's patreon.com/thegorge. Where for just $5 a month, you can access not one, but two entire podcasts. $5 gets you takeout, a monthly commentary track where we all decide we don't want to fucking play something, so we watch it and talk over it and said, I'm very tired. And $2 is our grab bag tier. And the $10 tier, you get exclusive pictures of my dogs in the Discord. Congratulations. That's patreon.com/thegorge.
That's a new one.
That's a new one, yeah.
We should come up with something snappy for that next time.
You know what?
Like Dara's songs.
No? What?
Hecky Olmo.
Dara's dogs?
Podcast.
Yeah.
Sarah does the ad read fast.
Hecky Grace, sisters.
This is a news episode, but I know we all did one thing, and I didn't do anything else.
No, I don't have anything else to speak
I'll get
of.
my only other thing out of the way just to mention it, because I'm continuing to be in my ill-advised anime arc of my life, where I just watch a lot of anime all at once for no good goddamn reason. And so I've decided to go back to, because there have now been 2 entire seasons since, and a 4th is beginning. I decided to go back and watch another season of the Demon Slayer anime that Ufotable did. Similar to, I finished the 2nd season. I did the 1st season like a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Similar to the first one, elevates the extremely mid shonen Demon Slayer by want of being just like immaculately rendered fucking Ufotable fight scenes. Just overwhelming and abound with color and spectacle.
Mm-hmm.
Like, genuinely just like candy for the eyes. I feel confident describing it as that. However, still victim to the weaknesses of the original manga, which is to say, I think that author, while they have a lot of their things down, the important part of like writing a story that is compelling and doesn't feel extremely boilerplate and uninvested is really low.
I see.
Their pitch was, what if we did the Shinsengumi versus Stardust Crusaders Dio?
Mm-hmm.
And they did not at any point have a second original thought.
Understandable.
Yeah, okay.
I feel similar way. I never actually read or watched any of Demon Slayer, but I do feel the exact same way about Jujutsu Kaisen.
Mm-hmm.
Where I read the first couple chapters of Jujutsu Kaisen and I went, "Oh, this is carried by the anime."
I think and I watched a bit of the Jujutsu Kaisen anime as well. I think really the only difference between Jujutsu Kaisen and Demon Slayer is that as Demon Slayer had the good sense to end when the author ran out of ideas.
Yeah.
And also, the author never did the thing where, I don't understand why everybody likes this character. I'm going to shelf them for several years and then bring them back just to kill them.
Which I do think is funny. I do think it's extremely funny to, like, viscerally hate a character you made that is, like, massively popular, right?
Yes.
But, like, you yourself fucking hate them, so you basically put them in a box for several years and then bring them back and kill them within like 5 chapters, I want to say, of bringing them back. Extremely funny.
I prefer the Tatsuki Fujimoto approach for Chainsaw Man, which is there's a point at which he talked to his editor. He's like, look, editor, I'm going to kill one of these 2 characters. I feel I need to. It's going to be either this character, who Asterix is extremely popular, or this other character who is also popular but like less so. And the editor said, "You should kill in brackets less popular character." And Tatsuki Fujimoto says, "Okay," and then he killed the more popular character instead.
Very funny. I do respect the grind.
But that was it for me. That's the only other unique thing that I did. So we can all go on to our shared week, I suppose.
That's right.
Yeah.
We all played 1000 Decks for Exist. I don't know how to say that game's title, but
I think that's correct. Or
they
like
made
1000 times Resist, maybe.
They made the most difficult title to say out loud.
Right.
And there's no good way to shorten it.
No.
Because the only thing you think is doing 1KXR, but then that sounds like that bad League fighter.
My first immediate thought was instead going on a tangent, going like, yeah, that's true. Chicks do dig giant robots.
That's right.
Megas XLR rules.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah.
If you want to look this game up on Steam or the Switch shop, that, by the way, that is the number 1000, the letter X, and then the word resist. No spaces in between them.
Right.
Just one long run-on sentence.
I'm just gonna say we'll probably talk about some manner of spoilers, except for the very, very last bit of the game.
I
so I'm gonna
keep it somewhat vague, but
I don't think this is gonna be a full episode of anything, so I'm just gonna put a timestamp in the episode description.
Yeah, we can put on the annoying Gigaboots music they play whenever they're like, just wait until you don't hear the music anymore, and then it's safe.
Yeah, I will break tradition and I'll just put a timestamp in.
Okay.
So that we don't have to dance around certain things.
Yeah, I mean, there's this game is tremendous. This is like
it's a game of the year contender for sure.
It's literally game of the year contender, and it just came out of nowhere.
As we described last week, and as helpfully came out on the little automated highlight generator thing, it is like if you took the Yamato to Nier Automata, and Stellar Blade and 1000X Resist came out.
Right.
Exactly. Stellar Blade took all of Nier Automata's extremely saleable aspects, like the hot ladies and the action combat and things of that nature, and 1000X Resist took the part where it's like a gut-wrenching apocalypse story.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
like reflecting on like personal identity and heartbreak and things of that nature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's tremendous. I don't even know where to like even really start.
There is a brief moment where the game decides to change perspective such that you just watch live film footage, and I just started crying.
Oh, it's fantastic. Yeah. Absolutely. It's so good. I mean, like, I don't think there's a single chapter of this game where I was not, at least at some point, like, reduced to tears.
Yeah.
I've never cried so much playing a video game, like, in my entire life. It's fantastic.
And it never got heavy, but I was still left with just this longing melancholy of nostalgia and empathy and bittersweetness of a time that feels so familiar, but I never actually experienced.
Mm-hmm. You had a little bit. You had a little bit of that Tim Rogers Boku no Natsuyasumi kind of like. I have this nostalgia for this time and place that never really existed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, it was like super, I mean, for me at least, like extremely gut-wrenching and just like devastating in parts. Like, it's almost hard to talk about. It's so good. Like,
it's extremely high concept in that I think it's like you have what is and like from very early on there's very obviously like a generational trauma, like
of course
the way that like hurt people make hurt people, right. hurt people and then make other hurt people who only know how to hurt people, etc., etc. And like it feels reductive describing it like that, but it is like very much part of the oeuvre. But then also going like, this is like the cyberpunk future kind of, except it's the apocalypse, and also the main character is like a second generation immigrant from people who were involved in the Hong Kong protests in like 2019 or whatever.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
And like porting that forward.
Yeah.
And it's firing on a ton of cylinders all at the same time, and actually like finds really interesting ways for all these different layers that seem to have very little to do with each other to all kind of like blend together really organically. And there's parts where like you'll have one of these layers reference something from another layer, and it just fits so perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and everything just clicks together so perfectly, and it's so like it's operating on so many different like levels of like something to resonate with you, right? Like it's just incredible. I don't know, like the it's so like ghostly and haunting. It has some of the like strongest imagery I've ever seen in a video game, possibly ever.
Oh yeah, it's extremely
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think one of my favorite parts is the non-stop jarring visuals of how everybody moves like they're in a Dreamcast game.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
It's really it's really unsettling and horrifying and like
the thing that got me the most was that no one's mouth moves when they talk.
Yeah,
No.
it's great.
Now how can they? They don't really know how to use them. They don't know how to breathe.
Yeah, like it's I don't know, there's just so much like there's a lot of like smart decisions going on with like the tech and like making this video game like very obviously an indie game, and just being like, well, we're not gonna waste our time trying to make it look like extremely high fidelity, so instead we're just going to go in as hard as possibly anybody ever has with just like unbelievably evocative imagery that just like sticks in your head forever. The entire sequence, like when you're doing like the communion with Knower and you're like bouncing back and
that
forth.
Sequence.
God,
the limestone caverns.
Yeah, in the caverns. Just,
Yeah.
like, it's incredible. Just some of those shots are so like perfectly staged and like deeply just like potent. And,
I
like,
love
haunting.
I love, by the way, that every communion is a different style of gameplay.
Yeah, it's great.
The game itself also never comments on it, but like in terms of like the visual language thing, one of my favorite design details that goes completely unremarked upon is that the occupant like crowns or whatever you would call them are irises.
Yeah.
Like they're just like the irises of an eye. Like they're the same kind of pattern.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, that's cool.
That's smart.
That's cool.
It looks like a halo and also an
That's-
iris, and it's really spooky.
That's using all the parts of the buffalo.
You're using every piece of the animal, absolutely.
Because I noticed it way later on when they started showing off the ships. I was like, oh, the little specks in that make up the halo. That's just a resized version of that.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Mhm.
Like the ship itself, right, is like reminiscent of that shape as well. It's so, I don't know, it's so damn good.
And it makes sense too, because also like we know that the ship, there's supposed to be like 50 of them, if not more.
Yeah.
Or like something like that. It's like 50 or 70 or something like that. But like there's
Yeah,
supposed to be a ton of them.
You're like, oh.
Also, I really like that they found a way to do Shaka when the walls fell, but like without obviously just being that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, it's real fun because like the creators are like extremely obvious about like their like creative touchstones. Like they're like, no, it's heavily inspired by Signalis and Nier Automata and all of that stuff. And it's like, yeah, we can tell. Don't
Yeah,
worry.
obviously.
Yeah.
But also, I was playing it, and I'm just going, yeah, guys, I also saw the movie Arrival. It's really good.
Yeah.
The movie Arrival is also about this idea of aliens who can't speak, who don't think of linear time, and so they can't communicate with extremely linear humans. And I'm absolutely sure that I'm not accusing them of plagiarism. I'm saying, yeah, that it's a cool idea, and I'm glad more people are playing with it, right? That like,
Right.
that these aliens can't even comprehend the kind of lives that we live, and they don't know how to communicate with us in turn. And the attempt to communicate, causes devastation, right?
It's a great thing it has in common with both Prey 2017 and Neon Genesis Evangelion.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just all of these like extremely potent like images you see throughout the whole game, and all of these like great character arcs, and just the total, like, it's so high concept that I constantly was thinking like, this is all going to turn out to be a simulation or something, right?
Right.
Because like there's no way. It's just so high concept, and most people are not brave enough to commit to our extremely high concept idea is real, right?
Yeah, it resists the temptation of like making it consumable. Resist. The fun thing that was pointed out that I didn't even consider until well after I'd finished is that the resist is all the same letters of sister.
Yeah.
Or sister, or no, yes, sister.
Oh.
Yeah. Sister.
And it's like,
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't get that one at all. Wow.
Yeah, it's great.
But it's like it resists the temptation to like to cut out from the feet like its own concept, right?
Yeah.
Where there's a lot of things that'll go like, well, yeah, it's this complicated concept, but really we package it in this other thing, so you can kind of like, if something doesn't make sense, you can understand that it's like kind of a bottle narrative. But this goes, no, this is what happened.
This is just what happened.
This is the world. This is our truth.
Yeah, like this is exactly what happened. A bunch of aliens came to Earth, and the only thing left are like literally hundreds of clones of the same two girls, and that's it. And it's like, oh, that's great. I love that. Like, that's I don't know. It's so out there, but so interesting, and like, I don't know. I'm having a hard time even coming up with words for it, because like I just was so impressed with everything they were doing, with like every kind of level they were operating on. I mean, there's late into the game, there are some like shots that are just like breathtaking in like how heartbreaking they are, and just how gorgeous they are. It's so like layered and really interested in these different ideas of like we said, generational trauma and like diaspora trauma, a thing that I can't possibly comprehend, but like Oates can, right? Like there are so many different things to find in it for you to latch onto, right? And to be able to navigate all of that coherently, without completely losing the plot, is really good. Yeah. I think it's great. I think it's fantastic. I loved pretty much every single moment of the game. I wish it had a map.
I wish Ben has said his opinion on the game is at some point a 10 out of 10. I broadly agree, except might call it a 9 out of 10. Not because I enjoyed it less, but because the difficulty of navigating the main environment of that game was such that it would frequently take me out of a moment because I was annoyed about having to spend an extra 10 minutes trying to find my way for what should have been a really direct course.
I did grade the game on a curve just so that I could continue my theme of this happened to my buddy Eric for 10 out of 10s because Iris fits close enough to Eric that I could pull it off.
Right.
This did happen to my buddy Iris. I gotta ask.
Yeah.
Because I think it's important to know. Who's everybody's favorite sister and why?
Oh, Healer is mine.
I can see
because
that.
she's such a sarcastic asshole, and I love that she has no patience for decorum that the rest of the established sisters are trying to maintain.
It's such a toss-up between BB and Healer. I really love Healer. I just think she has, like, probably one of the best voice actresses in the game.
Yeah.
In a game full of, like, really good voice acting, but really weird voice acting that I really like, right?
There's
subdued.
There's a Silent Hill 2 like, and the thing that I noticed, like, looking at the thing is that there are a lot of characters. It's just, this is voiced by one of the people who made the game.
Right,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And it's like, yeah, you can tell for some of them.
You can tell.
Like, there's the very rare occasions where it's like, Johnson the 50, I think they probably should have gotten, someone who's a little more emotive for him. His line reads don't match his tone, like, at all.
Right, yeah.
I actually kind of ended up liking Johnson the 50's, like, line reads, because it's so, like, beaten down and tired, and so just, like, you know, it feels like, yeah, he's going through with all this awful stuff, but it feels like a foregone conclusion, right? It's like, I have to do this because I have to try, but also, I know this is totally pointless and there's no fixing what's happened, so I'm just kind of tired and trying to make it work. And I actually ended up really warming up to a lot of, like, these weird line reads. Some of them are pretty stilted, but some of them are really good.
I think it probably works for him. It's just he does have a couple lines that are, like, written like he's supposed to be feeling something other than, like, just, like, suicidal dread, and does not get there, unfortunately.
Sure.
But, like, I don't even think he's a bad voice actor or anything. I just, I'm willing to bet there's maybe, like, some, I'm not going to assume that everyone had, like, professional direction either. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I think for the most part, it's all very serviceable stuff.
Oh, yeah.
There are certain qualities of the voice acting where I think the game really excels and just creates this definite, you know, voice for itself by being kind of vaguely amateurish, but not poorly acted. But just things like you can hear the way, like the way the characters pronounce, like, B's and P's. They're very soft. Like I don't even know how to describe it. I know there's probably a word for it, but, like, that very, like, soft and subdued way of pronouncing it. Or you have characters like Secretary, who has that very childish, almost like slurring everything they say, even after the time skip.
Right.
I love Secretary's voice.
Secretary's voice is incredible.
Secretary's voice is, like, is literally, like, top 5 because they're just so, like,
Little angel.
my little guy, my little angel. Just every time Secretary pops up and starts talking, there's, like, one part extremely early on where Secretary has been, like, very professional. So it's kind of like a fun little, like, dichotomy of, like, your little AI assistant buddy has, like, a child's voice but always speaks very professionally, and then at one point super early on they're talking to Watcher and it just says, like, it's kind of spooky or something like that, and it was just like, oh, you're just, like, an adorable kid too. Okay, I see, I understand immediately.
You are just as naive of the world as everyone else in this entire organization.
Yeah.
Before we move past it completely, Oates, who's your favorite sister?
Well, I mean, I should say, like, either BB or Fixer. But we all know what kind of person I am. It's Father.
That's fair.
Like, absolutely best character in the entire show.
For me, the one I'm buying acrylic standees at Comic-Con or whatever for is Bang Bang Fire. Because
BB is incredible.
BB's great.
Great character.
I love BB and I love Fixer, like, as characters, and also, like, their voice direction is absolutely delightful. But, you know, I am who I am. I love whatever Father does in anything. It sets off the neurons in me that go, yeah, that's what it's like being second generation immigrant.
my favorite though is Knower, because Knower is the character I would play in a tabletop RPG.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
The thing is, I love Knower, but also, like, I don't want to talk about Knower.
Right.
Yeah.
I think Knower probably prefers it that way.
Yeah. That's, like, God, like I said, I don't want to talk about the ending because I haven't seen the epilogue yet. I would like to point out, by the way, this game is a lot longer than I thought it was. It's not that long. I thought it had 7 chapters. The game has 10.
Sarah,
in like an hour-long epilogue.
Sarah, the same thing happened to me. Because the night I finished it, I stayed up until like 1 o'clock, and I was like, okay, I hit the time skip. Like this has got to be it, right? It's got to be like a little bit further. And it's like, oh no, this is the halfway point.
Yeah, no, there's like a whole extra video game. It is Nier Automata.
I fell for the thing that literally always gets me, which is that you get the false ending at a certain point. Not like early on, but there's a point at which the game hits a thing where it kicks you back to the title screen, and it's like, oh, that's it, that's the end. And I had the thing again where I'm like, well, shit, that was abrupt, but I guess it is like an indie game, so whatever. And I closed it, and I'm like, I don't know though. I feel like it only took me like 5 hours to get here, right? And I see everyone else on here has like 8+, like someone has like 14 hours in their file. Like, am I missing something? And I go back into the game, and there's an entire other half of the game still in there.
That's correct. Yeah. Like I said, extremely wearing the Automata like inspiration on its sleeve, where it's like, no, actually, when things go fucking crazy, there's actually just more video game in here. And it's like,
there's
okay.
a ton more.
This also tracks with, and I'm not going to spoil it for this game, but this also tracks very much with the Signalis inspiration that they mentioned. There's a bit where that also does a kick you to the title screen thing, where it's like, oh, I guess it's an indie game ending, and you go, or is it?
Right.
I have a question for you, because maybe I missed this. I have 2 questions that I might have missed. One that just kind of bothers me, and the other is actually like a discussion point, the first one is, what did Iris actually say about John that got everyone like gossiping about her?
I think I think the implication is that she told everyone at the dance that she calls herself Dumpster Zhao, which is like a missable dialogue that's in in like, if you go down to the cafeteria you can talk to her, and she talks about like, I call myself Dumpster Zhao because I'm dumpstering all this food away or whatever. Yeah. And she brings that up in her like running away down the street, which makes me think that Iris told everyone at the dance.
That's what I was thinking of, but I thought there was going to be something more to it later on.
No.
It's just that she betrayed Zhao's personal trust and said something deeply personal without her consent, with the intent of belittling her because Iris is a real specimen.
Iris is a piece of shit, and I love that.
It's so good. She couldn't be anything else, which is part of the theme of the game, but also you love a girl who sucks.
I love that the Watcher's whole thing, her whole mental breakdown is realizing that Iris, that the All-Mother herself, was a petulant little shithead 16-year-old.
And this is also the very Nier Automata thing it does of like, this has happened to literally every Watcher.
Yeah.
Is they all realize that she fucking sucks and they have mental breakdowns.
Every single time.
I loved having like the moment of Nowhere implying like, oh yeah, that wasn't even the first Watcher that killed herself when she found out the truth. I was like, oh, I see.
Just watch her, or just know her smoking a cigarette. Like, huh? You got to that part, didn't you?
Oh no!
I love it. It couldn't have gone any other way besides that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, of course, to create the society that everyone lives in, you have to be a dirtbag.
I mean, yeah.
You have to be a dirtbag that tried to fix it, but not very hard.
You have to be a slave to your own patterns, unfortunately.
Yeah. I think that's a better way of describing it, is that I think that Iris is just a slave to her own patterns, like everybody else who's literally come before her. Like, her, her mom beat her. They kind of gloss over it, but like, they mention that her mom beats her with a fucking duster, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's just like, she just, Iris is as fucked up as everybody else.
Yeah.
Everybody else who just like lashes out at like the whole world, right?
And she recognizes that she was a piece of shit and tries to fix it, and guess what? She only knows how to be what she's been raised to be.
Right. She only knows how to break things, exactly.
I also like this because it's, and this is like chapter 10 stuff, like not like the epilogues or anything, but it's late game. So again, like if you've listened this far and then want to go to the rest of the game, ignore this bit. But I like how this also bears out in like the entire game they spent with like the occupants being like really unknowable and mysterious aliens, and then you finally have occupants talk to each other and you realize they are also slaves to their own patterns and only capable of reproducing the things that they were raised with.
Yeah, they like the occupant that stayed on Earth, because there's only the one left, is like, we all have mentors as well, and my mentor was cruel to me. Like, we communicate via the sharing of memory, but my mentor wouldn't share any memory with me, and so I don't have any of the same kind of context.
The only memory my mentor shared was the memory of the 2 stars, right?
Yeah,
and it's
like the collapsing of reality, right? It's just like, yeah, you don't have any other way to like navigate the world.
All this to say, 1,000 Times Resist is the toxic Yuri game of the year.
Oh, it is.
Oh,
yeah.
It's incredible. There's so much packed in there. By very dint of the fact that they're all clones, right?
Yeah, right.
There is no such thing as an unproblematic ship in 1,000 Times.
But
it's amazing. It's made out of just problems. What a great video game. Just stuffed to the gills with like characters with issues. There's not a single redeemable one. Even if you ship the ones that aren't clones with each other, if you ship the one with the other set of clones, by dint of who they are cloned from, it's still problematic and toxic. It's still weird.
Or even the other one that's in there, because it's heavily implied that the one watcher stays behind because they had a thing for Iris.
They were in love with Iris, yeah.
Yeah, and that's an incredibly toxic relationship.
It's amazing!
And I seem to recall there being some implication that was maybe not like a one-way thing.
Absolutely not. No, Iris, like, that's the thing that Fixer says at the very beginning of the game. Granted, it's not actually Fixer, it's Principal.
Right. But the implication is still there.
Yeah, we shouldn't be fucking them. Right?
But and it's a thing, like, again, another thing the game doesn't comment on, but realistically, if you're a little shithead, and like, Iris has a lot of reasons to be a little shithead, but she is a little shithead. If you are given, like, godlike power, and also everyone left that exists is younger clones of you. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I get it.
What are you who else are you gonna do it with? Except the giant, the alien, right? Because, like...
Yeah, you don't have a choice.
Everybody else left is just your daughter, right?
And like, if you're a little bit of a narcissist anyway, the part where they're clones is probably a plus.
Right! It's amazing. 10 out of 10 video game. Highly recommend.
Most emotionally resonant video game that is both consumable by completely normal people and also Fujoshi sister wives.
That's correct.
That's right.
Yeah.
Rise up.
God's strongest soldier.
Braver than any U.S. Marine.
I did actually take notes about this because I wasn't sure if it was going to be an episode or not.
Sure.
One of the details that I absolutely love about this game, and I think more games should play with these kind of interface things, is when you get the dialogue prompts that are all parts of one sentence.
The old FGO classic.
Damn it, Saturn, you took my joke.
Like, I love that when it's because it's not just the same statement repeated, it's one statement broken up into 4 prompts.
Yeah, FGO does that.
My
Very
is,
cool.
I like it when this game does it because this game understands the correct amount of time to do it, which is some of the time.
Yes.
Which is only some of
and
them.
arguably a relatively low amount of some of the time. It's not Genshin Impact, which does that basically to the exclusion of all other real dialogue choice. I'm also going to link it in the group chat because it's important to me to reflect on other little details I liked about the game. I love this poster from the first act.
Yeah, are you sure you aren't just sad?
And it's someone it's two pictures, identical pictures of someone with their head in their hands, sitting on a shitty little chair. And it's stress, anxiety, depression, and then the other identical one, deadly disease.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I love my other note I wrote down here was I love that this game is space COVID.
Yeah.
The disease in this game is space COVID.
I mean, yeah, it's literally about being part of the Chinese diaspora in 2020 when everybody was exceptionally cruel to Chinese people, right?
Yeah.
The studio is made, I looked it up, the studio is almost entirely members of the Asian diaspora in Toronto, Canada.
That's correct.
It's just, it is that's the entire company almost.
Yeah.
Usually, it's just COVID.
Usually a game will a game kind of in this kind of thing, if you think about it for Nier, it will do the thing where it puts up at least 1 degree of separation between itself and the actual real life events that the game is based off of, right?
The
right?
beautiful thing is
that this game is it's flashback 2019, and I went, oh.
Yeah, the thing about this game is it's one of the rare video games. So I've noticed a thing about culture, and it's because American culture is deeply cowardly.
Yeah.
Where it's just we're just not going to talk about what happened in 2020, right?
Right.
Nobody's going to talk about what happened in 2020. We're all going to pretend it didn't happen. We're all going to pretend that 1 million people didn't die.
Right.
And pretty much all culture is oh, that thing in 2020. We're not going to talk about it. And then 1000 Times Resist just grabs you by the lapels and is this is exclusively about 3 things. It's about generational trauma. It's about being part of the Asian diaspora. And it's about COVID. Get over it.
Yep.
And it's fantastic.
They all but said the word COVID.
Yeah, it's
when
great.
Talking about this. It's fantastic. It's incredible.
It grabs you and just shakes you by your fucking lapels.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's not subtle at
Not
all.
at all.
Yeah.
I mean, Zhao's whole problem is that she's the new Chinese girl in the school, and the implication is that this crying disease also started in China. Right?
Right.
So, Zhao being, still having a very strong accent is the most disliked and the most, ignored and put upon because of, that. Right? Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff like that. It's great. It's amazing. It's just it's extremely in your face about what it's about. It's not even subtle.
No.
You could say that's one of my favorite things about games like this is where it's a brick to the face what it's about. They're not even trying to obscure it. They're no, we know what we want to talk about. And we're going to talk about it blatantly, and also it's going to have some crazy space ghost imagery. It's
subtle as a hammer, but intricate as a beautiful etched in metal engraving on the hammer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's I mean, I have a hard time even saying more than just it's fantastic. I love it.
It's as blunt as a hammer and as beautiful as a hammer.
Yeah.
I will also say to my co-host, because obviously the 4 of us all think this is fucking great. If you have listened this far, you should. If you listened this far and want to play the game, you probably should have stopped. You probably should have skipped ahead, 10, 15 minutes ago. Maybe. Don't worry about it. You should still just go play this game. I will also say that if any of you are in the mood for anything else that is candidly, no, this is about the actual Hong Kong protests. We're not I'm not subtle. I don't care.
Mhm.
The DLC for Umurangi Generation called Macro
Yes.
is
okay.
Yes.
so
Ooh,
Umurangi
okay.
Generation is about living through the climate apocalypse.
Yeah, that's correct.
Macro is about living through the climate apocalypse and also the Hong Kong protests.
Right.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. With music by Thor High Heels.
That's right.
Oh.
Except it was back when he still had the extremely weird the music production name of Adolf Nomura, so they reference that very routinely throughout the game.
That's funny.
Great name.
I can't think of any reason why he might have changed that.
Yeah.
You know.
Sing the song of Hong Kong Land.
Yeah, that's my favorite Thor High Heels track, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. Gosh, what else?
One of the other notes I wrote down was that it was one of the things that hit me as a joke first, but then I thought about it and I was like, oh, I get it. The fact that after like 1,000 years, All Mother has never improved her art skills.
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah, that's not All Mother.
That's Principal.
Yeah.
Well, still, she has never improved her art skills.
No, Principal also has not improved her art skills.
Yeah.
That is true.
No.
Because
Like-
we've seen how Iris draws, and it's the same way that Principal draws.
No,
Right.
Those are pictures from when Iris was a child.
Yeah.
Well, those specifically the ones that Ben is talking about are the ones for the beginning of Chapter 2.
when she's showing how Fixer was killed.
Yeah.
Fixer's execution was drawn by Principal.
By Principal. Yeah, but like the thing is that like she's just aping what she thinks All Mother draws like, but like Iris
But it's
hasn't
just-
drawn like that since she was a little kid.
Yeah, but it's the perfect encapsulation of not evolving and getting caught
Yeah,
in the
exactly.
cycle. That's why I
Yeah.
love it so much. At first it was like, oh, it's a
Yeah.
funny joke, but then you think, oh, no, this is all still part of the theming.
Because
Yeah.
because again, like those pictures she drew as a child are what she carried with her. She didn't
Mhm.
carry her adult art with her.
Right.
Because the thing you get from the like unmissable dialogue again, the first chapter is that like the person who's teaching art thinks that Iris could probably be pretty fucking good at it,
Mm-hmm.
right? And like
Mhm.
implies
Yeah.
that maybe as an older person she is more technically proficient. But all the art that she brought with her was her drawings from when she was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so that
Yeah.
became that because and in Healer's Communion they spell art with a capital A.
Yeah.
Because this is art. This is the only art.
Yeah, this is the only kind of art they've got.
Yeah, I love that. I love the idea of knowing what the concept of something is, but not what it is in practice.
Right.
When you have a post-apocalyptic thing like this, or just a generational thing like this, where knowledge just gets eliminated as time goes on, I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just incredible use of theming and pacing and whatnot. The big question I had is another thing that I might have missed, which is how much time passed between the time skip?
7 years?
It was
I
7
think-
years, right?
I believe
Yeah.
7 years, yeah.
Yeah.
So was all that, all the Old Town stuff, that existed before,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, it was on
Okay.
did, because in the in that area, even in the very beginning of the game, you can see signs for the exit to Old Town.
Okay.
Yeah, you can try. Like at one point when I was wandering around the orchard, being lost, I was like, "Oh, Old Town, what's that?" So I just followed the signs, and it eventually takes you to like a slightly rusty shutter gate that you can't go through.
Right.
Like,
okay.
Old Town has just always been there. Yeah.
And I
'Cause
think
I was
the
like-
implication that you're supposed to get from like the end of chapter 9, I think, is that this has been there since the ship was made, because
Yeah.
this is supposed to be part of the generation ship. It's like
Right.
it's the recreation of a place that existed on Earth.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Very 13 Sentinels-esque.
Yeah, very.
They
I
also
I think most people should play that game. I think you would like it a lot.
No, I think the developers also were like, 13 Sentinels was a huge inspiration point for us. Yeah.
Good.
Good.
Yeah, their mood board is basically Signalis, Nier Automata, and 13 Sentinels.
We need 1000 X Resist 2, where it's the same game, but it is virtual reality, so they have to fight off giant robots.
I love that idea.
Because Melissa and I are going through 13 Sentinels, and I was like, it was a couple days after I'd beaten Resist, and I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
There's parallels here.
It's really good.
Because the thing that I was thinking about when I first got to the time skip part where you switched to blue, and I was like going through that, and I'm like, oh damn, this must be way later because there's like a whole new society happening here. Like there's like this must be years, and then they're talking later, and like, yeah, it's been 7 years, and I was like, damn, they moved fast.
Yeah.
Like even if it wasn't like several generations past, like it's still like in those 7 years, you did completely like reconstruct your governmental system. That's still a pretty short time. They did move pretty quickly.
The other thing I wanted to say about it, because it is related to that actually, is I saw a post, I want to say a couple months ago, which is like, if you're thinking of writing something, if you have an idea, you need to start now, and you need to actually do it. Because until you do it, you will be cursed to forever see fragments of the story idea that exists in your mind reflected in other things.
Yes.
And I felt that extremely when we got to the chapter where it is a Watcher's perspective for that time frame, right? With Malvin Noer. And I'm like, I literally... this specific interaction with Noer being framed like this, doing this, I had a scene in mind for a thing, and seeing it here makes me go, oh, they did it before me. I can't accuse them of having stolen it from my brain, but also I wish I could. Damn you.
Oath was literally telling me that exact thing, like 2 hours into our playthrough or something.
Yeah, like we were in chapter 2 and like talking to Principal, and I was just looking at the whole environment, and I explained to her like there was at one point like a tabletop RPG I think I was wanting to work on, and I had the setting and like a plot line all figured out back when I was on Big Gay Nerds, and it never came to fruition. And basically all of like chapters like redacted through 3 is what happened in it.
Stellar.
And it's just like
oh damn it,
you gotta make the thing.
Beans.
But the thing is, I will say the one extremely there are many heartening, wonderful things about 1000 times resist. Specifically that it seems to be doing well. The developers seem very pleased on Twitter, so it has sold enough, which I'm happy about. But also, the mere fact that this game is so, like, just hard on its sleeve, blatant about its inspirations, like, not even trying to hide it, right? Like, they're not even interested in hiding it. They're just like, nope, this is exactly what we were inspired by, and we love it. Like, that fact is just like, oh yeah, you should just make the thing that 1000 times resist also has. You should just make that thing.
I'm gonna wear 1000 X resist on my sleeve when I put a extremely distressing first-person torture sequence in whatever I write next.
Right? I totally agree. Like, you should definitely be proud of your inspirations, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you are clearly inspired by something, lean into it and be like, yeah, this is a celebration of a thing that had a very strong impact on me, and I wanted to do my own thing with similar ideas.
Yeah, it's not plagiarism.
At the risk of overusing food analogies, as is often in video games, it's like making a good stew, which is like, there's going to be you are going to be able to distinguish the potatoes and carrots and beef chunks and whatever else if you make it right. Like, you want to have all those textures in there. And people are going to look at the thing in your stew and go, that's a fucking carrot. I know it's a carrot. And you go, yeah, bitch, I like carrots. It tastes good in this stew, don't it?
Yeah, exactly. Really?
And the answer is yeah, because you let it soak in with all that beef and onions and shit, and got all those
It's
flavors
like-
mixed together, and now it's like its own thing. And then people are gonna put chunks of your frozen stew in their thing that they make later.
Like someone's gonna accuse the devs of being like, yeah, you really like Nier Automata, right? And then they look over at their entirely female cast of clone androids in the future and go, yeah,
Who
How
Duh.
can you tell?
who are disproportionately predisposed to always make the same fucking mistakes based on their job, like in Nier Automata. Like how 9S is doomed to end up like that
Yeah,
because
like-
he's 9S.
Yeah, like 1000 Times Resist is just like, what if the whole game was just 9S? What if you only played as 9S for all of Nier
What if-
Automata?
what if there was a
Congratulations, Death Watcher?
what if there was a colony of all 9S's?
It's
God, Watcher
great.
really is just girl 9S.
Yeah,
She's just girl 9S. She's literally just girl 9S. Like, down to just making the same dumb
Shit.
mistakes. Yeah, absolutely.
Dang.
Mhm.
We need to put her in that outfit. We need
Yeah, we
costume.
do.
We need costume. Look, you
Well,
have to get Square Enix's permission is the hard part. Yoko Taro, however, would be like, please, absolutely.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. This also means we have to get the occupant in that really nice looking varsity jacket that Patrick Stewart always wears in The Next Generation. So you can go, Jatar, his arms wide open,
Yeah.
just constantly.
We need the occupant, and the model is exactly the same, but where its missing head is, it's just a machine head.
No, it's
Yeah.
just the Emil head.
yeah, just
Yeah,
the meal
yeah,
head.
yeah, yeah. That one also
Yeah,
works.
yeah.
I mean, come on. Watcher has a little floating thing that hovers around her all the time and gives her advice and tells her things.
Yeah. And
Like,
she
it's a
bickers with
pod.
it.
Also,
Yeah.
that thing is from the machines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it turns out the machines are more like the androids than has been previously reported.
And
In fact, they might almost be identical, except for the fact where us is made of meat and them's is made of not.
Uh-huh. Yeah, Saturn.
I think it's a good episode
I
title.
love-
I think that's the episode title. Yeah. Us is made of meat and them's is made of not.
You were planning this one, weren't you?
No, I was not. That here's the thing: authentic Saturnisms are straight from the dome. You got that one hot and fresh.
Ah, yes, like my favorite 7-Eleven hot dog. Rolling around for the last 6 hours.
That one, and
That
that's the
explains
one
so
that's
much
made of
about
not.
Saturn.
The 7-Eleven hot dog is the one that's
Yeah.
made of not.
That explains so much about Saturn if you just think of their brain as a 7-Eleven hot dog just tumbling along those hot rollers.
Yeah, think of my brain as the little heating device that's in any given gas station convenience store that has a variety of ready-made sandwiches and mysterious meat products in it. The thing is, you never want what's there, but sometimes it's the only option you
Only
have.
thing.
Sometimes
Absolutely.
it's 2:30 in the morning, and you're like, I need to eat something.
Sometimes you're like, I need to be at work in 15 minutes. I'm at the Wawa's, and I need my breakfast to cost less than $6.
That's correct.
I am going to get a mysterious breakfast sandwich and a 16-ounce hot coffee, and then I will leave. And I will not like either of them, but it fit the criteria.
That's right.
That's
But
But
it'll
it's
work.
calories. It'll do.
Saturn, we like you more than that, I
That's
promise
right.
you.
I promise.
Thank you.
You're Saturn, you're at least a hardware store hot dog.
Saturn,
Can I at least be like an IKEA meatball?
You
Saturn.
can
Yeah.
be an IKEA meatball, yeah.
Saturn.
Saturn, you are the 99-cent Costco churro.
Saturn, you
I was
don't
gonna have anything called
as
churro.
as a non-Midwesterner, you don't know how much of a compliment it is to be the hardware
The
store
hardware
hot
store
dog.
hot dog.
Yeah, I'm gonna be
That-
honest, Ben. I have never been in a hardware store that has its own bespoke meat product.
It is
Oh.
such a Midwestern thing, I'm
Yeah.
No,
sorry.
it's the greatest thing ever. Home Depot used to just have like a street side hot dog cart. And they just sell hot dogs and cans of pop and chips. It was great.
sometimes you walk out into the world in search of good iced tea, and brother, I ain't got any of that, but what I do have is a mini fridge overflowing with any flavor of brisk imaginable.
I'll take that. I'll take a brisk.
You will not like it as much as a good tea, but it is a brisk.
But it is a brisk. Saturn is the Costco hot dog, and if you raise the price on the Costco hot dog, I'll fucking kill you.
Kill you.
That's right, because I'm accessible and acceptable.
Yes.
Correct. Oh, God.
Oh.
Kamidare, but for being mediocre and unlikable.
Yeah.
But you know what isn't mediocre and unlikable?
1,000 extras of this. It's
Thank you, exactly.
It's-
It's a great video game.
I was about to say, no, Sarah, the news is incredibly mediocre.
I
and
know,
unlikable.
right? I don't
Yeah.
want to talk about
I'm that
it
one.
yet.
I'm that one girl who's in Tsukihime / Melty Blood, who's like trying to hypnotize Shikitono into thinking like underemployed 30-year-old women are attractive and beautiful, and finding the most hypnotizable man of all time, and he's kind of struggling to buy it.
Yeah.
I'm her. I'm her. Is what I am.
I see.
Oh, God.
Anyone else got anything real quick to say about it before we... I guess we'll pick it up next week when Sarah Notes finish the epilogue and we can talk like
Yeah.
fully about it.
Yeah, because like right now I'm just so sleepy. I was like, it won't take that long to finish the epilogue, but I sat in front of my computer with the intention of finishing it, and I thought about walking around the orchard more, and I was like, no, I want to go to bed.
That was
I
I will say that was for me the moment I resolved to giving it a 9.
yeah.
Because I and again, like I don't know which of the epilogues you grabbed, so we'll talk about it next week. But I was like going around the orchard because I had to go around the orchard, and it's dark, and I have to go interact with things. And this thing's in a little alcove where it's like the way to get around it is to navigate like 270 degrees around the outer ring because the access to it is on the opposite side of the fucking concourse for some goddamn reason because they designed this fucking room like psychopaths and
That's
didn't give you a
correct.
map or wayfinding at all. And I was like, no, this game's getting a 9.
I
Can't do it. This game's getting a 9.
I do think it's extremely funny. My nemesis through all of this game has been navigating the orchard, and essentially the final boss of this game
Is navigating the orchard.
is navigating the orchard in
orchard.
5 minutes.
It's
And it
almost...
fucks me because every
it's almost
other
like it is by
environment is
design.
fine. Every other environment is fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I think they knew, because they wouldn't have done it that way otherwise.
Yeah.
I
I
literally
agree.
think it was intentional to make the
I
orchard,
still
like,
think they're criminals.
they're criminals.
I need you to understand. Sarah had such a hard time navigating that we beat that final boss with like
5 seconds to spare.
3 or 4 seconds to spare.
Yeah, literally, like 5 seconds to spare. I was just like, because I couldn't find. There's one part in the very beginning where I can't find essentially one of the first launching off points. I couldn't find it, and I was just like, where do I go? What do I do? And then finally I found it. I just had to book it. It was insane.
I think I had like 2 minutes to spare, and it's because
Damn.
there was at least one point where I'm like, I don't need to do that sequence of the jumping puzzle, and I just avoided it.
Yeah.
I had like a minute and a half to spare, and yeah, there was somewhere I was just like, can I cheese this? Can I just like get from here to here? And it was like, oh, if I try, no, I can't. I gotta go around. Okay.
No, you can't cheese it. I've tried so many times.
I realized immediately this was not going to be like Neon White, and we had to do the long way.
Yeah.
But Sarah kept insisting, like, no, we can cheese it.
No, we can neon white this.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine modding this game? Everything is the same, except you get to the final sequence and it controls like Neon White.
That'd be awesome.
That would kick ass, though.
Look, we need Neon White 1000 Extra Zest, where it's all cell shaded now, and also every time you're in the memory zone, it's just fucking Neon White music and movement.
With the,
Yeah.
kill,
I love
with
that
the
idea.
weird Killer 7 UI.
Yeah. Love
Yeah.
that idea. Thank you.
Here's the thing, I think more video games need to look like Killer 7. This is
Agreed.
the hill I will die
so
on.
true.
things need to be aggressively cel-shaded and have nonsense UIs that don't fucking make any sense at all, but all because they're trying to over-communicate really simple information.
Agreed.
Yeah, I love that. The UI in Neon White is incredible. The UI in this game is good too. It's very subdued, but it's
Yeah, I enjoy it.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, I really enjoyed that video game just from start to finish. So.
I'm very excited for Oates and Sarah to get through the epilogue, because I know that Saturn did the same thing I did in the epilogue, and I'm eager to find out if you two also do the same thing that I did in the epilogue.
Oh boy.
Well, I guess I should ask, because like you said, well, no.
No, it's okay.
Have you had to make any choices yet?
Oh yeah, we've already made choices about turning off and on lights. Let's say.
Okay.
So you turned off or on certain amounts of lights and then went to do like the epilogue.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you get any endings before that?
No.
Okay. So you did not see the thing that Ben and I did.
Well, you have to tell.
I know what it is.
But I was exhausted.
I know what it is.
So the first thing I did is I was turning off some lights, and I went, I'm just going to turn off every light. And I did that, and that is a bespoke ending.
Yep.
Oh, really?
And then after that I went, well, what if I just leave all the lights on? That is also a bespoke ending.
I see. Well, I made a save in that room.
Yeah.
So I actually can go back.
Yeah.
And for what it's worth, the game so like the epilogues, of which there are 2, and I think
Saturn there are 3 because you didn't get one that I did.
Oh.
Well, no. I mean the not for those, but like for the proper endings, I believe there are 2, and those are I believe those are dependent on whether you left the light, specifically whether you left the light on for principal.
Okay.
I think that is like the key deciding factor. But it has like a total of like 5 or 6 other non-real endings that are just you chose a combination of lights that was wrong.
Yeah, I chose.
Great.
I had a feeling about that one.
I chose to leave every light on and got one of those endings.
And
then I went and turned one specific light off and got a different ending.
There is an ending that I believe is just you turn off every light except for the jows.
Great! I'm gonna have to experiment after this. Okay.
Yeah. Well, luckily, also after you finish the game, you get a chapter select, and I think even if you didn't save, I think you can just jump immediately to chapter 10, which is just that.
As soon as you're done with chapter 10, like before we even got into epilogue, I noticed that we suddenly had chapter select in.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
there's also when you finish an epilogue, it kicks you back to the decision part, like automatically. It just boots you back to like, hey, you want to try that again?
That's fun. Cool. Okay, good. Then I'm really excited.
Yeah. I don't have much else to talk about right now. I guess when you two are more awake, we can talk more about it.
So dead on my. I was up until 4:00 in the morning trying to finish that video game.
So let's do some news so you don't have to rack your brain as hard and you can just be mad about things. Valve's next game, reportedly an Overwatch-style shooter hero called Deadlock.
Oh yeah.
What year is it?
They're extremely late. The iron's frigid.
It's such a shame that Valve has at no point in their long bespoke history ever thought about making some kind of competitive team-based shooting game with like really unique and dynamic characters that are like going to stick with the public for decades. It's a shame that Valve has never made this game before.
Quality, yeah.
It's great. Here's the thing, though, and I this is a correct joke, but to a certain extent, I think this makes sense because Team Fortress 2 did invent the hero shooter, right? Like it just invented the hero shooter.
Yes,
just
it did.
Straight up.
Yeah.
People think of hero shooters as Overwatch. That is a genre, however, that was invented by Team Fortress 2.
Yeah.
And you could make a Team Fortress 3, but then you have to live up to Team Fortress 2, and that's simply not going to happen.
Well, Saturn, they don't have to make a Team Fortress 3. They can just keep updating Team Fortress 2.
No.
Yes.
New thing. No, they need new thing.
No.
Make money. New thing make money.
Cancel their new thing. Saturn, you know what makes money? Team Fortress 2.
I do think it would have been much smarter to take literally 100% of the budget that went to this and just go, we're rebuilding Team Fortress 2 in Source 2 and like making all the models higher fidelity.
All your shit carries over.
Add some new game modes, like rescript it, whatever the fuck you have to do. I think that would have been smarter. Because the thing is, I'm really funny. Some part of me doubts at this point they'd ever be able to get Renee Ray back to finish the comic.
No.
But she's too busy drawing like wrestling lesbian porn or whatever she's doing now.
Good for her.
Yeah, really good for her. I do think though, literally, the difference is it would have been smarter to play because people like me who've played a lot of Team Fortress 2 will go, yeah, I'll reinstall for that. Yeah, I'll buy like a $10 upgrade pack if you're going to do that or whatever. The likelihood of me installing this, whatever this thing is, whenever it comes out, is 0.
No, I don't give a shit.
You know, they could have really just leaned into the bit, and they could have just done Team Fortress 2, and then the 2 is like hastily scribbled out, and then it says 3 in like a crayon.
Yeah.
And they just do like word for word all of the Overwatch 2 hype buzzwords.
Yeah.
The thing is that they can't do that. Valve can never make a game that has a number 3 in it.
No, they'll never make a game with
the thing is,
but that'll be how they break the curse.
The thing
really
is,
funny.
They
can't break the curse as long as Gabe Newell's alive.
The insane thing, by the way, is that Valve could just make Team Fortress 3, which is just Team Fortress 2 with better graphics and more like bespoke like hats and accessories and whatnot and weapons. And it would still be more content than ended up in Overwatch 2.
A game they are famously continuing to remove more content from.
I think by now there's less content in Overwatch 2 than in base Overwatch.
Yeah, probably. It's it's really stunning that Valve was like, yeah, we're gonna can In the Valley of the Gods so we can make an Overwatch clone that's gonna be dead in a year and a half.
Well, I can't wait.
I think they canned In the Valley of the Gods because they went, we're cannibalizing you people to finish Half-Life Alyx for us.
Yeah, I know. And then that game is still not out, so it's like obviously they put those artists on something else.
That game's never coming out. Ever.
That game's never coming out. No.
I can't wait, by the way, for Team Fortress 2 to kill its own brother the way that it has done for all other arena-based hero shooters. Like the way that that clip of I'm Still Standing by Elton John with all of the hero shooters that have come out since Team Fortress 2 came out.
Yeah, I love that one. Every year they add 2 more.
Yeah. I can't wait for it to be like, for Deadlock to be bleeding on the ground and be like, your own brother, and Team Fortress 2 is like, yes.
Like, you just need to do the, like, just fucking put it in the Counter-Strike 3 engine or whatever that fucking piece of shit is called. Is it Counter-Strike 2? I guess it's Counter-Strike 2 now. It used to be Counter-Strike Go, and then they turned it into Counter-Strike 2 in a move which pissed off everybody. Funniest thing about that game. It's like, yeah, this is the same game, but we did a whole bunch of back-end shit, so it has, like, volumetric smoke grenades, and also, like, a weird processing that can calculate things between server ticks and like other insane shit like that. And it's like, yeah, just do that to Team Fortress 2.
Just
fix it instead. Why, instead of wasting all your money on this game that nobody's gonna play and is gonna be dead in 6 to 18 months, maybe.
Yeah, like the last new fantasy game they made.
Yeah.
Remember when they wanted to make their own Hearthstone?
Oh, they're insane.
Yeah, they were insane. They canceled that game like within half a year of it coming out.
When Deadlock comes out, we're gonna need to do the comparison of Steam active players between TF2 and Deadlock on release date.
Absolutely, we will.
I have to look, because we always do the track. I just want to actually right now. Because I still kind of remember the numbers.
I want to know how many people are playing Team Fortress 2 versus Starfield.
Yeah, so I still remember the numbers.
That's a mean one.
I'll do a live comparison. Sure.
Yeah, let's.
Wow, Team Fortress 2's all-time peak was relatively recently. Actually,
yes, it was.
Its all-time peak was 254,000 players 11 months ago.
God.
Okay, so how many people are playing it right now?
88,910, which
Holy
I can promise you is like 20 times more than Starfield without even checking.
Please tell me how many years. But I want to know.
I just want to know the number.
I need to hear
I feel so
it.
bad for Starfield that we keep doing this, but however it deserves it. Starfield's current players right now, 6,650.
I told you, Sarah, that was too mean.
That's Stop! He's already dead.
So 89,000 divided by 6,500. So that's Team Fortress 2 currently has 13.7 times the amount of players as Starfield on Steam.
Fantastic!
Oh, great!
Folks, you love to hear it.
Now, to
TF2
be fair,
came out
Team Fortress 2 is a free-to-play game. However,
However, Team Fortress 2.
Team Fortress 2.
However, Team Fortress 2. Starfield can suck my nerds.
Yeah, like
Team Fortress 2 has not had a real update in over a decade.
Yeah, Team Fortress 2 could drive a car at this point. That's how old it is.
Speaking of old games, see the new FF14 Dawn Trail jobs in action and job changes galore.
I don't want to talk about it because I haven't seen enough for me to make any judgments.
I can't make any judgments right now. My initial impression is,
I didn't see any of the gameplay or anything they showed. I just looked at the things they talked about with regards to what they're changing about what classes. As someone who mains healers and tanks and who doesn't play DPS to save their life, Thog don't care. Things look pretty good for me.
There is
on my machine.
There is
Sorry for all you people who like red rolls. I can't empathize.
There is one big change for Black Mages specifically, which is
thank God.
Yes,
can move
sir.
Our lines.
I am getting out of this chair.
It's not even that. It's not even like.
Oh no, you're not getting out of the chair. You're taking the chair with you.
Yeah, it's literally like the chair is super glued to your ass and you're hobbling over.
I love
like,
I love the fan art. Someone drew up a little Black Mage in the baby bouncer.
Yeah.
I need someone to make like a script extender mod where if you're a Black Mage in your ley lines, it just puts you in like one of those little fold out lawn chairs.
Yeah, it just does the animation of Engineers Rancho Relaxo.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or when you fish and you can like pull out like a little stool when you're fishing, you should just be able to pull out a little stool when you're in your ley lines, right? And just prop it and just keep casting fire.
Yeah, just holding your stick and then every now and then you just whip it like you're like a fishing rod.
Yeah, exactly. I need that really badly. So yeah, no,
Yeah.
I am excited for the Black Mage change. But the thing is that it's really funny how obvious it is that Black Mage is like Yoshi P's baby, because like they just won't do anything to change that class. Like that class is like preserved in amber because Yoshi P likes it so much. Right?
Meanwhile, Yoshi P
has
to be like Yoshi P has to be held back by like 3 people to stop from cutting off more of Summoner's fingers.
Yeah, it's just incredible. I'm really hoping the Dragoon is still good after all of this.
He was clearly so mad that at the very end of Shadowbringer, Summoner was beating Black Mage in the DPS race.
He's like, nope, not letting that happen.
Yoshi P I love all my children equally. 10 minutes earlier, I don't particularly care for Summoner.
Yeah, no. Just really devoted to taking Summoner out back and making them look at the ground like fucking George and Of Mice and Men, right?
Right.
So, it's fine. Yeah, no, there isn't really much else to say other than, like, I hope they're good. I hope the changes are good instead of bad. That's what it boils down to.
The other important detail about this is that we all need to start buying Mountain Dew.
I'm not here's the thing. I'm going to buy Baja Blast because I like to drink Baja Blast when it's in season. I, however, think that mount looks fucking ugly, and I don't care.
I also don't really want it.
I want the mount just because I think it's funny. That's it. I think it's funny.
I want the minion. I want to be followed around by a bottle of Mountain Dew.
It's not.
That's not a minion. It's a consumable, I think.
No, that's a minion.
No, it's
The sparkling citrus refreshment minion. I'm looking at the article now.
Oh my god.
I'm not sure if the article is right.
Uh-huh.
I don't think they called that a minion.
It's a consumable. You just drink it.
Because it's only 100 thing, and like the fucking metallic dyes are 200. I think it's just a consumable.
I'm really sad that it doesn't work. Like, it's fine. Like, it's stupid that it's just a consumable. What it should be is that it should work like the champagne bottles, right? Where you
spray it.
And but you should be able to spray people with Mountain Dew.
Yes.
Because I think that'd be really funny.
It's either going to be that, or it's going to be a food item. It's literally one of those two things. It couldn't possibly be anything else, unfortunately.
What if they let us have a Goobu plushie?
No.
I was so mad that it was like they had so many cute things that there was no Goobu.
There's no Goobu plushie.
There's no
but
Goobu.
The Goobu plushie that is available is not ideal. It is no bueno. It's not a fat enough little boy, right?
We gotta learn how to make Muppets so that we can make a proper.
I gotta make my own Goobu.
And the Goobu plushie would also need to be filled with beans for it to be hefty enough for you to chuck at someone.
Because it's my fat little boy. Yeah, you definitely need to be able to throw it at somebody's head and it just knock them out cold.
I would suggest we don't fill it with beans. We just go straight to the source and fill it with sand.
Oh, I love that! Yes!
You should be able to use that thing to protect the interior of your home during a hurricane.
Agreed.
I love that idea. You should be able to knock an intruder out with your Goobu plushie, right? Like, just somebody sneaking into your home to steal your TV, and they just get wonked upside the head by your fucking Goobu. Yeah.
The ideal Goobu plushie is a sandbag between 5 and 20 pounds that has Stretch Armstrong arms on the side.
Yeah, I love that idea.
You should be able to like nail its hands to the inside of a door frame and launch it like a slingshot at somebody.
I'm thinking.
I wish you heard that, Goobu.
Oh, don't make me hurt Goobu more. Goobu baby.
I'm
Goofu my baby.
Oh my god! I'm thinking of it was not Stretch Armstrong. It was a different off-brand thing toy that I used to have when I was a kid, where it had a little nozzle at the top, and you could use a pump to vacuum the air out of it. And so that when you stretched it, because it had no air to get it in, it would hold its shape. And it was filled with like a granular substance instead of like the goo of a Stretch Armstrong.
Right.
And I'm thinking of a Goobu with that ability where you can just stretch it out and its limbs will just stay there.
Yeah.
Until you press the nozzle to get air back in.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
Please, Square Enix, we have great ideas.
We have great ideas.
Please make my Goobu slingshot, please.
It's
the only way.
That's machinist or that's Bard's level 100 skill.
Yeah.
It's the only way we'll finally be able to put Phil Spencer in the ground and free you from whatever horrible contract he signed.
And also, while you're at it, bring back Xenos, you fucking hack fraud.
I can't wait for Beastmaster, where the only beast I will have is a Goobu. Everybody else is gonna be like, "You gonna catch them all, Sarah?" I'm like, "No, I have a Goobu.
No, I got my starter."
I have my starter.
I hope it's literally just Pokemon.
It's almost certainly.
That would be great. You should be able to pick between 3 starters, and they are. One of them is the Goobu.
You have to choose between the Paisa, the Goobu, and the Dalma, and then Sarah's just gonna be like, "Why?"
Which one of these charmingly horrifying Final Fantasy XIV monsters will you pick? And I'll just start crying because I can't pick. I love them all equally. They're my sick little babies.
The entire Beastmaster quest line is about how you cannot actually ethically Beastmaster kobolds, no matter how much you want to.
No matter how much you really want to.
Lion's just like, listen, bud, they are sapient. You can't.
They can talk.
You can't.
You can't put them in the capture bowl.
No, sorry, you can't do that. You can't do it to them, and you can't do it to gobbies.
And if the kobold consents, we have a whole different problem.
That's right.
And we would change the rating of the video game, so you can't do it.
I
You're
just-
like, Lions, what the fuck are you talking about?
That idea just makes me think of, I wish I could find the comic it's from, but it's an old Sean Baby comic where he has Lex Luthor ranting about, listen, when it comes to animals, it's totally fine if a regular animal is naked. The minute one starts talking, it puts on fucking pants.
I think that's reasonable. I think Red 13 should have pants on.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think Scooby-Doo should be forced to wear pants.
I agree.
Yeah. The thing is, it would be really funny to see Scooby-Doo wearing some little jeans.
Like Daxter.
I'm just imagining Scooby-Doo in, like, the Tramp's, like, giant oversized overalls.
Yeah.
Speaking of Mountain Dew and Final Fantasy,
Oh, Jesus.
EA is prototyping in-game ads even as we speak.
Well, the beautiful thing is that I probably am not going to buy an EA game ever again after NCAA comes out, so I'm good.
Yeah, so I mean,
it's good that this will never be relevant to basically anyone on this podcast because
Right.
It's only going to come in Madden games in the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
And like
I'm
no shade if you like a sports game, obviously.
Sure.
But it's
Like,
not
I'm gonna
relevant
buy-
to me.
Like, I'm gonna buy. I will wear the fucking albatross around my neck of NCAA football when it comes out. And I will have to put up with in-game ads there, and then never again because I won't ever buy another EA game. It's fine. But that's it.
I
It's
think
not a problem for me otherwise.
the only way these ads would be acceptable in any video game is if they are like the Chilean Cristal Star Wars ads.
Can we get the Cristal ad like cut of like Nier Automata?
Yeah, I want a moment where Nines hacks something and it opens up and there's a crystal in it.
Emotions are prohibited, but what's not prohibited is an ice cold bottle of Cristal if you are over the age of 21.
Cerveza Cristal.
Cerveza Cristal.
He just goes to the back of like Pascal's back and opens up a hatch and there's just a fridge in there.
Yeah, that's what all the stubbies are. They're just mini fridges. Every single stubby is a mini fridge. Did you not know?
A2 just like too depressed to make real food. Try 1 or 2 beers. Can't possibly go wrong with 1 or 2 beers.
Next, here's a continuation of last week.
Oh no.
Perfect Dark reboot is allegedly in bad shape.
What?
Didn't they cancel it already?
No, it's not canceled.
They're insane for pretending this game hasn't already been canceled.
The game was announced 4 years ago.
Oh my god.
4 years ago, and is still in early development.
Well, that hasn't stopped the Elder
no.
Scrolls 6, so maybe that's just how they do it over there now.
It's quote from Jeff Grubb. It doesn't sound like it's really come together in any way since its announcement, and Crystal Dynamics coming on board is to come help with that.
That's
It's baffling the way that Microsoft has just gone. We cannot make video games anymore.
Yeah,
we just
they've just completely conceded.
So
it's incredible.
This is something that I find very morbidly fascinating because the way this usually happens, and we've discussed this on this podcast before, with games like Anthem or anything post BioShock Infinite that Ken Levine has tried to work on, which is what usually happens is you work on a game for like a year and you get the ball rolling and like things are starting to progress, and then some guy watches someone else play a different video game and says, I want that in our game.
Yeah.
And then you have to scrap everything you've worked on and start over. And then a year later,
that's why he's a criminal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the seagull effect, right? Where somebody just flies in and shits all over everything.
Right.
Yeah.
There's no word of that happening with Perfect Dark. they just aren't doing anything.
They're just not. I mean,
They're
like,
just
good
not
for
working
them.
on it.
I mean, good for them. I too want to make work a job really bad,
Yeah.
right? Like that's the
Well-
dream of all of us is to get a high-paying make work.
Clearly, Microsoft doesn't have an issue with you saying, "Yeah, we're making this," and then not doing anything with it
And-
for the better part of a decade.
And
Why
I
would they
mean-
start now?
I can't blame them because, as we just saw a week ago, if you're working on a game,
Oh,
you
yeah.
have a job.
Yeah.
But as soon as the game ships, you're done. They're gonna close
Yeah.
your studio down. Like we
So-
already know they're gonna kill. We already know they're gonna kill Ninja Theory.
Yeah, Ninja Theory had to write their own fucking eulogy.
They
Yeah.
literally had to write their own eulogy
It-
before Senua 2 even came out.
And you know how I know they're fucking dead?
How?
That game came out yesterday, if not the day before even. You know what I have heard? How much I have heard about it? Like since
Nothing.
like literally
Zero
the day
things.
it came out. Not a peep.
Not a
Deader
goddamn.
than doornails. This
The
company.
only thing I have heard about Senua 2 is that it's 5 hours long and it's a
Yeah.
$70 game.
I did see someone.
The only other thing I've heard about it is that it is a far less sensitive representation of mental illness than the first game was.
All
Yeah.
I saw was the tweet from, I can't remember who it was now, but they were like, "Oh, is this just Microsoft's 1886?" And they're like, "Yeah, it kind of is."
Yeah, that's Gene Park. from
Gene
the
Park, that was
Washington
it.
Post.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gene Park for Washington Post was just like, yeah, it kind of is. It's like, oh no!
It's like,
Gene
oh,
Park also, who as I understand, does his damnedest to be broadly positive about every
Yeah.
video
Yeah.
game that comes out.
So-
The best praise he could give for it is that it's worth a Game Pass peak.
Yeah,
Which is a
it's like-
really terrible thing to say
Oh.
about a video game that they have been teasing for like the last half a decade. That also costs $70.
Yeah, it's really bad, you guys.
They're fucked. That
They're
company's
so
fucked.
fucked.
They're dead.
so dead. They're so dead. No. It's
Also,
incredible
after
how dead they are.
Microsoft kills that company, they're going to execute Phil Spencer live in public, and everyone's
Oh,
going to get
good.
the law.
I hope so.
That's funny.
It's insane to me that like the only reason that Jim Ryan of PlayStation has not been like publicly killed is that he has Phil Spencer to compare to, and so it's like for all the fucked up things that Jim Ryan
yeah.
did to that company, PlayStation still has a future as a game company for the foreseeable future. Phil Spencer, Phil Spencer's tenure over Microsoft for the last 10 years has broadly been to the effect of killing Xbox completely.
No, yeah, like it's the fucking the one post that keeps going around, which is that Sony is currently run by people who would drown if it was raining. If
Yeah.
it weren't for the fact that their primary competition is a company that cannot stop slamming their dicks in car doors, right? Like,
They're the 10-year champ.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's incredible. The 10-year champ of slamming their dick in a car door, right? Like, it's incredible to me.
I didn't.
Solid gold tweet.
Meanwhile, Nintendo's just like, well, no one really likes us that much, but we have good IP and put out video games. And then we sell
Yeah.
them to you, and they're like, there's a relatively consistent schedule and level of polish, and we sell you the video games. And also,
And in exchange, we just occasionally send our super fans to jail.
Yeah.
like we
Most
do that,
ghoulish way of
but
fashion
really,
possible.
what are you gonna do? Give money to those other clowns? And unfortunately for me, I'm like, no, I fucking guess not.
Yeah.
Because I can't give money to those other clowns because they won't put out any goddamn
They won't
video
take it.
games. Like,
What has Microsoft put out in the last calendar year? They put out Redfall, a game that sucks and is bad. They put out Starfield, a game that sucks
game
and
that
is
sucks
bad,
and is
but like
bad.
slightly less. They put out Hi-Fi Rush, which is good, and then destroyed that studio like instantly. And then they put out Hellblade 2, which is
Game that-
$70 and 5 hours long.
A game that
right.
sucks and is bad.
no!
A
And
game
by
that
all accounts, Senua is a perfectly fine game. Just like the first one, right? Like,
here's the thing, and the main the actual like constructive criticism I've heard of it is it's an even simpler game than the first one was. They have removed systems and simplified systems.
That's amazing.
The one review I read in full described it as a game that is more contemptuous of interactivity than the first one was.
Amazing.
Which is incredible, because the first game is like, it is, I mean, like, this is the game that made this is the studio, that made, like, Baby's first Devil May Cry game, right? Which is already, like, a video game that is fairly contemptuous of, like, the mechanical complexity of your average Devil May Cry. And then Senua was, like, a follow-up to that, where it was even more stripped down. But it was like, okay, this is fine, I guess.
The little gameplay you get is okay.
Yeah, and then it's like, 2 strips that out even more. It's like, well, then what's left?
What?
You made an extremely pretty looking key smash simulator and like a cutscene thing, and it's like, I'm sure there's some 45-year-old man with a $600,000 a year job who will think that's just the bee's knees, and he's still going to get it on Game Pass and not actually buy it.
Oh no!
Yep.
Like, I don't mind. Obviously, we just talked for an hour about how there's a good possibility that our game of the year is a narrative game that is mostly cutscenes. Like, yeah, it's got some. It's mostly talking to characters. It is a glorified visual novel with like the most minimal of gameplay elements, right? And that's fine, right?
Right.
I love that game. However, there's a shit ton of it. It's good, and it was $17.
The important,
right?
the big distinction about that, between those two, is that 1000X Resist did not tout itself as anything beyond a walking simulator decision maker.
Yeah, exactly.
Senua's Saga says it's an action game.
Yeah, and it's $70.
And again, like, this, I feel like, and like this is a lot been kind of writing on the wall for a while, but like stuff like 1000X Resist, where it's like 4 or 5 people made this, and it takes you inside of 10 hours to finish, and it costs you maybe $20, is just sort of the model for video games going forward.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
The problem is, like, there is not what the $70 pivot has especially proven is that, like, you can get away with that if you're Tears of the Kingdom, or if
Tears of the Kingdom.
The only game that has completely justified its $70 price tag is Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, and there's some where it's like, you know, you'll get I don't know, like a Dragon's Dogma 2, where it's like, yeah, this did well enough. This succeeded in our sales expectations, and we sold it for $70. And it's like, cool. But Elden Ring was $60, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Like, and it's a thing where no one can afford that, and it's a really tall. Most video games, even in the AAA scale, aren't going to be able to justify a $70 price point. Which, I mean, I don't fucking care how pretty it is. There's no world in which Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice 2 is worth spending $70 United States on, especially considering Microsoft will happily give it to you to play for that 5 hours if you buy like a $10 a month Xbox Game Pass sub or whatever. And like, even then, like, I think I've paid for maybe 2 or 3 months of Game Pass in my entire life.
Right.
And it's like, there's just nothing else in there that I really want to play, because every time I look at something, it's something like, I don't know, there's a PC game, it's like a top-down cyberpunk game called like The Ascent or whatever, and every time I look at it, I'm like, when I want to buckle into that, I'll buy it for full price, because like it seems interesting. Like, I'll do that for like Wasteland 3 or something if I ever want to play Wasteland 3, because it's like, it's an RPG and I want to revisit it. It's what I did for Starfield before I knew Starfield was bad, because I'm like, you know what, yeah, this will be day one Game Pass, I could play it for $10, but I think, I know, asterisk, I'll want to come back to it, so it's worth it for me to just own it. No one's gonna... Like, what do you come back to a 5-hour fucking cutscene simulator for?
It's...
Right.
Every time I hear about Game Pass, I'm just in awe at how much Microsoft is shooting every other studio.
Well, at this point,
with
the
Game
thing
Pass.
Is that the thing is that, like, a lot of people at Microsoft understand that this is a bad idea, but, like, Phil Spencer is obsessed with it for a reason that I cannot understand.
Because it makes him the idea of money.
It is rent-seeking with video games, but, like, everybody else who has attempted, like, I know they announced a couple days ago that PlayStation's like really bad Game Pass equivalent is scaling back because they're like, oh, this just doesn't make money. This is just a hole that we throw things into, and nothing comes out
Like,
of it.
oh, this
right?
isn't working.
Yeah.
And also worth noting, comparatively for how little, like, there's the value of Game Pass is significantly higher than the value of most tiers of the PlayStation Plus, just because of the amount of fucking games that are on Game Pass relatively, right?
Sure.
But the thing is, the attach rate for Game Pass to PS Plus, and even like normal Game Pass to normal PS Plus, is basically identical.
Yeah.
Like those two things, like the percentage of the amount of consumers who own those consoles who actually pay for that services is, I think, about 45% in both cases. Mm-hmm. And it's like, what has this gotten you? Because it hasn't gotten you more console sales, and it hasn't gotten you a higher attach rate.
Yeah, it's really amazing. Like, it's just amazing. It just doesn't work. But Phil thinks that they can Netflix this shit.
Well, as I say, I understand how you come up with this idea, because this is the idea that was born at the moment where it seemed like, and back in the old before money was real days.
Yeah.
When like your business model could be, we're going to be Netflix. We're going to drive everyone else out of business, and then we can like crank things. That's just that is just a Silicon Valley model for like all the 2010s. It's just, we're going to do something insane to buy our competition out of existence and then do the squeeze. And the thing that every single one of these companies has found, including Netflix, including everything else, is that model doesn't work, because like you have to actually succeed in destroying all your competition, and it just doesn't work. Like Uber's still fucking hemorrhaging money all the time because they're the plan to basically buy the taxi industry out of existence and then charge profitable rates after taxis are dead didn't work, because you just can't pump that enough to kill taxis.
Yeah, but you can't kill taxis, and also they have like competition from Lyft, right? Like,
yeah, and
Lyft
that's
is competition.
Because the plan only works if you're the only company doing that.
Exactly, like that's why it worked for Amazon.
And every other company is kind of realizing, okay, this isn't profitable. We either need to A, immediately declare bankruptcy, or B, find new means of like producing value. But Xbox has just kind of remained firmly lashed, like, no, we can make this work. Sony's gonna collapse any day now, and then our only competition is Nintendo.
I didn't put it on the docket because it didn't actually end up being current. It was just something else. But we got those articles recently, the rumors about Microsoft trying to buy Steam.
That's such a load of horseshit too. Because there's no like, if they think they can buy Activision, which is like tantamount to worthless in any kind of public consideration, for $80 billion, and then go, yeah, Valve, we'll give you $16 billion to own all of PC gaming.
I'll give you
out of your mind.
I'll give you $100 for your infinite money machine.
$16 billion is about what like Steam overall, not even like Valve, but like just the Steam model makes for them in about 6 months.
Yeah. Like Gabe Newell
is independently a billionaire. He owns like $2 billion worth of yachts alone.
Yeah,
but it's the tweet that Pat Boivin made, where he's like, Microsoft keeps trying to buy their way out of every situation, including the situation where they're no longer allowed to buy their way out of things.
Right.
And it's the only thing they know how to do is buy out their competition.
And the thing is, like, yeah, they can try and buy out, like, sure, you can try and buy out Steam, but it wouldn't even work. Like, for a little while, it would be a setback. But, like, just for example, 1000 Times Resist is also on Good Old Games.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, and Good Old Games, GOG is a perfectly functioning, like, video game marketplace, right? Like, their itch is still a functioning video game marketplace, even with the Epic, not acquisition, but, like, stakeholding or something? Anyways, like,
the only reason...
Still... Like, go ahead.
The only reason that Steam is the one that's successful is because it's the good one.
Right.
That it works. If you buy it and you make it no longer work, we'll just go to the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
I also don't know in what world it would be like Microsoft going, yeah, we had to go through like antitrust court in every country in existence to acquire a publisher. But we can definitely just go ahead and buy this other company that controls like a significant minority of the entire PC marketplace, and
Right.
they'll just let us do that.
Because it's all they know how to do. It's the only action they know how to take.
They're insane.
Phil Spencer is a ghoul that needs to be eliminated from the industry.
The executive class in general is just full of people who just go, I don't know, throw money at it. Figure it out. And it's like, no wonder Microsoft can't make games anymore.
The clock's ticking. No more Xbox in a year. I'm calling it. Next, Multiverse's trailer reveals first look at Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th and Agent Smith from The Matrix. I think turning Jason into a Looney Tunes character is great design.
I didn't see too much of it. I saw a little bit of Jason. For me, the multiverse stuff just didn't really do anything.
No, a Smash clone owned by the Warner Brothers guys, like,
Yeah.
no.
Also, everything
No.
I've seen from people who have followed the game is that apparently this the re-release is supposed to be coming out shortly, right?
Yeah, it's
Reopening?
very soon. June, I think.
It seems that it looks like from all gameplay footage, the game is just running like 30%
Oh yeah,
slower.
no, it's so slow. Like it's every gameplay clip I've seen is just like, this is slowed down, right? Like you're doing this to show off the character, right?
But then you compare it to the timer, and it is in fact still the same time.
Yeah.
And the thing that was mentioned that I think is very likely is that the update adds rollback netcode. And it's entirely possible that they went, to make rollback work, we have to make the game slower, and they just literally slowed the game down by like 30%. And I'm man, you can't do that. Not in Smash.
I've seen
Come
footage
on.
of people speeding the game up to compare to Smash Ultimate, and it is embarrassing.
Oh well. Multiverses, you probably would have had better luck if you had just stayed out.
Yeah,
why
if
did
you
you
had not...
Why did you close for like a year and a half? What's your
Well,
problem?
it was an open beta, Saturn. It was just an open beta, and they had to end it to make the real game come out. They certainly didn't release a total dud and then have to try to recomp their losses and fix it.
Yeah, when did they decide it was an open beta again? Because it certainly wasn't when we were selling the game.
They said it was an open beta when they took the game away.
Oh, I see. All right, cool.
They were like, thanks for playtesting. And everyone went, no, I gave you money. And they went, playtesting.
Warner Brothers should be sued for a lot of reasons, but especially that.
Next. This one's out. We can talk about it. The fan-made Mario Builder 64 game looks spectacular. It's out. We're allowed to talk about it. They put it out.
Yeah, that one's out, so Nintendo can't take it down anymore.
Yeah.
They can still take it down, but they can't, like, destroy it.
Yeah. This looks really cool, actually. This is, like, super fucking impressive. Just, a map maker for Mario 64. Like, it's just Mario Maker, but for Mario 64 levels. Like, full
That's
3D, using all the same assets and whatnot.
It's everything you could ever want.
Yeah. Looking forward to all the crazy shit people will make out of this, because they've already done plenty with just ROM hacks. Like, this is
Yeah, I've seen a little bit of the ROM hack where they turn the opening level of Mario 64 into like a Bennett Foddy simulator, where you just have to use absurd in-game tricks to get up increasingly improbable geometry, and if you fail, you will just fall down back to the opening level of Super Mario 64.
Yes, Saturn. I have also played Super Mario Sunshine.
Hey, now hold on. Super Mario Sunshine's a good game, you bastard.
Is it though?
Yeah.
Is it?
It's good in the way a JRPG is good, which is to say, it's bad in ways that make me feel things.
That's right.
You know what? I'll take that.
I love that the comment people make where it's like, Mario Sunshine would be a much better game if it didn't play clown music when you die.
No, it would make it a worse game.
That's the most important part, though.
If the game
we put that on the soundboard for a reason.
If the game didn't condescendingly say too bad when it fucked up and killed you.
No, I think it's good. Just hard disagreement. I think it's good. I think more video games should do that. I think you could only improve Elden Ring or a Dark Souls game by modding it in clown horns and too bad when you die. I think that would be great.
I would have preferred if even better than the too bad one is the old ROM hack where it just says too ass.
Yeah. Next, GTA 6 could be the first game to push past $70.
I fucking hope not.
You don't want to do this. You do not want to.
No, like
you're gonna kneecap that game if you make it 80.
I mean, I doubt they'd kneecap it because it's Grand Theft Auto 6, but it will put like a deranged idea. And honestly, I've changed my mind. They should do it because it will hasten the collapse of AAA faster. I have become a AAA accelerationist. I think they should do it because
they should sell it for $100.
They should sell it for $100.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It will kill the industry.
Because I think Grand Theft Auto 6 will sell at $80 to $100. Like, I think it will. I think it will move plenty of units. Because it's Grand Theft Auto 6. We haven't had one in a shitzillion years. Grand Theft Auto 5 sold very, very well. Everybody likes those games, right? Like, even I'm like, ooh, Grand Theft Auto. Especially because it's set in Florida. But it will sell well, and then some, like, zombie with a brain slug attached to the top of his skull at, like, Xbox or EA.
Hellblade 3.
Yeah, one of them will be like, oh, we can do that.
Let's make that the standard.
And then they won't, and then the industry will completely collapse in on itself and will be free. Yeah, I think they should do it.
I think you have sold me on $100 Grand Theft Auto 6.
Yeah, because here's the thing. Ubisoft and all those big publishers, they already do the thing where it's like, well, the game's only $70, but you can buy the Ultimate Edition with the whole season pass, the DLC, and this, that, and the other for like $130 as the most recent, as the new Assassin's Creed is going to be. And I think if you're GTA 6, you just go, yeah, this game's $100, it comes with the game, and it comes with the lifetime of like a whole other 10 plus years of updates we're going to do for GTA Online 2. Deal with it, pig. You're buying this game for $100, whether you like it or not. And the thing is, it's GTA 6. People are going to buy it for $100.
Yeah.
Everyone else who tries to do this with any other game where the only way to buy it is the $100 version, all those companies will immediately go bankrupt.
Yeah, exactly. So I think they should do it.
Inshallah, it would be funny as fuck.
Inshallah, I think they should do it. It would be really funny. I think it would cause the complete and total collapse of most AAA game studios, including Square Enix, which at this point, maybe that would be okay. So yeah, I think they should do it. I think it'd be really, really funny, because I would love to watch a ton of dumbass executives just willfully Bud Dwyer themselves, right? Yeah.
If
So
Square Enix cannot find a way to support their entire enterprise off the back of FF14's profitability, they deserve whatever happens to them.
That's exactly right. Like,
that game costs $2 a year to make, and it prints infinite money. And if you cannot support a business off of that, you do not deserve to run a business.
That's exactly it. I'm sorry. Like, I love Final Fantasy, but after this whole debacle of like Square Enix being like, yeah, FF16 and Rebirth didn't meet our sales expectations when both of those games sold multiple millions of copies. It's like, actually, no, I think you also deserve to collapse into the earth.
While being like console exclusive locked for several months to over a year.
Yeah, for selling a $70 game on a console with half the sell-through rate. And it still sold like multiple millions of copies, and they're like, actually, we're disappointed by these sales. I'm like,
you should kill yourselves.
I think you also need to go. Yeah. So, I think Grand Theft Auto 6 should charge $80 to $100 because I think it would be funny.
Well, you know what Square Enix game is not console locked?
What's that?
Kingdom Hearts series coming to Steam on June 13th. I can't believe that.
Finally free.
I can't believe they're putting Kingdom Hearts on PC for the first time.
For the first time ever, they're putting Kingdom Hearts
I've-
on PC.
I've seen people literally go, "Oh, cool! It's on Steam. I can buy it on PC," and literally did not know it's on the Epic Game Store.
That's so funny.
How in the years that Kingdom Hearts 3 has been on the Epic Game Store, did they never make a Kingdom Hearts Fortnite skin? I ask you.
Well, there is that
Yeah.
rumor. There is a rumor that Kingdom Hearts might be the next Fortnite thing.
Oh, that'd be really funny. They should. I want to see Sora with an M16.
I
Yeah,
hope
they
so
should
because
do
I
that.
would love to eat crow in this specific instance. I would love to be like, why they never do a Kingdom Hearts Fortnite skin? And then Fortnite just looks at me and goes, bro, it's right here.
Yeah, we got
Hey,
it.
here it
There
is.
you go.
Look, you know we're tapping into your brainwaves. We gave you a Himiko Toga skin. What else do you want? And I'm like, you got me there, Chief.
Damn it, Tim Sweeney, get out of my head.
Continuing
Or
the,
stay and continue putting anime girls in Fortnite. I will spend too much money, I promise you.
Can-
Charles, get out of my head,
Charles, no! Continuing the grand tradition of each bespoke version of Kingdom Hearts 3. The Steam version will get its own platform exclusive Keyblade called the Dead of Night. It's just the Kingdom Key in Steam's blue and silver color
Oh,
palette.
that's cute. That's fun.
I still think the best one is a 7-Eleven promotion Keyblade, which is Dawn to Dusk.
Yeah,
Um,
that's cute. That's fun.
This is not a straight port of the PS4 collection. This is actually going to have slightly upscale textures for the classic games.
Oh, that's nice.
So
Okay.
that's cool. Maybe this version will also fix the weird collision glitches from the Epic Game Store version.
Nah.
That would be
No,
nice.
Probably not. No.
I think not.
It's weird because this is every game in the series except for Melody of Memory.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason that is
They're gonna sell that one separately at some point.
well. I mean, so they have it broken up into 1.5 and 2.5, and then the 2.8 collection, and then 3 and the DLC for 3.
Okay.
So they already have them broken up into different games. It's weird that they're not putting Melody of Memory out along with them.
That is
So
weird.
maybe
I don't know.
later, but I don't know.
Maybe later.
Yeah, I'll probably pick them up on Steam because that's where the Nexus mods will be targeting
That's correct.
in the future. So
Yeah, that's correct.
I will own. This will be the 4th time. No. I have that one. 5th time. I will own
Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2.
That's correct. Yeah, that's what's up.
That sounds like a Kingdom Hearts way to own Kingdom Hearts games.
Yeah.
Listen,
The
it's not my fault that every subsequent re-release of Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 is better than the previous one.
I installed the Epic Game Store for exactly 2 reasons. One was to play Fortnite, and one was to play Fall Guys. And then they killed Mediatonic, or decimated it. And now they're apparently talking about just putting Fall Guys into Fortnite. And so very soon I'm going to have the Epic Game Store installed for one reason and one reason only.
I installed the Epic Game Store to play The Outer Worlds.
Was it worth it?
No.
I installed it to play Alan Wake 2
That one's worth it.
and the Kingdom Hearts that we've been streaming for PC, which again, I'm going to
Yeah.
switch to Steam when those come out.
Yeah. Alan Wake 2 is worth it, but I really wish they'd hurry up and put that shit on Steam so I can buy it. And I just bumped my mic, sorry. I wish they'd put that shit on Steam instead, please.
Yeah. The problem is the Steam. I have to pay honor to Steam which I hate to do for a corporation that makes
Sure.
billions and trillions of dollars doing fucking nothing. However, just patent refusal to engage with any of that horse shit whatsoever. It's just like, do you want to put your game on your platform? Cool. We're not gonna pay you to do that, except for the money that you get from selling the game on our platform. Either you want to do it or you don't.
I understand why Remedy especially does the Epic Game Store thing, because Epic Games gives them a big sack full of money, and they're making like weird auteur, like single player games that are based off of Twin Peaks and shit that like don't usually do numbers. So like, yeah, I get why they do it. However, I do wish they'd put the games out on Steam sooner. It's been a while since Alan Wake 2 came out. I would like for it to come out on Steam now.
I would like for it to come out on Steam before the DLC comes out, so I don't have to reinstall the Epic Game Store launcher to play Alan Wake 2 DLC.
My understanding is last time there was an update to this effect, which was relatively recently, the game still has not broke even on development and marketing costs.
I think it broke even. It just hasn't made any profit yet.
If it broke even at all, it was very recent.
Right.
Because they were talking for a while, but like, nah, we're still in the red for that game.
I bet if you put it on Steam, it would make more money, because people prefer to play things on Steam.
Yeah, they need to put that shit on Steam, please.
I'm waiting for it to come out on Steam because I already own Control on Steam and I don't want to have to buy Control again, even though it's always on sale for like $5.
I know.
I'll just wait for Alan Wake 2 to come out on Steam.
Please.
Again, like I said earlier, the reason Steam has a quote monopoly is just because it's the better platform.
Yeah.
That's the only reason.
That's it.
Okay, one more article.
Hit me.
Paper Mario the 1,000-Year Door remake restores the character's trans identity.
And all the trans bullying?
Transphobia restored! Yay!
Diversity win.
Also, so as far as I can tell, and this is the reason why it's important to bring up, is that it does the thing I didn't think they'd ever do in a Nintendo game, but was the correct third choice to the localizing Paper Mario the 1,000-Year Door. Which is, when they first localized it, they took that shit out, which is not a great choice. However, the reason they did that is because this is an intelligent system game from 2004, and Vivian being trans in that game was a joke at Vivian's and your expense.
Yes.
Right.
And that is how everyone in that game treated it, and there was lots of other off-color shit in that game, but that was the thing. And like, whenever people were like, well, Vivian was trans in the original, and like Nintendo took it away, Nintendo America unlocalized it because of this or the other, it's like, it's all whitewashing. Because her existence as a trans character in the original text is a joke.
Yeah.
Like, it is a negative caricature that she is a trans person. However, what they did is they restored that and they made it like a part of her character in a way that it seems to be, from the preview, from the footage that we've seen, sincere and like tied into like her character pathos and not a joke at the player's expense. And it's like, oh, so you did it. You made the game for 2024. You just did it.
So in the American translation, she says, truth is, it took me a while to realize I was their sister, not their brother.
Right.
And in the Japanese version, because it's been it's been ROM dumped and we got the script, hold the script, she says that she is a man with the soul of a girl.
Right.
Which
I think I believe that's how it's written in the original too, right?
Yeah, and
or she has a man's body but the soul of the heart of a girl.
The heart, I have the heart of a girl is kind of the polite way of referring to yourself as transgender in Japanese parlance. So.
Right.
So it has been switched to that is just as concrete as possible.
Right.
And it's like, you know what? Great decision to look at that thing from 20 years ago and go, yeah, we're not going to touch most of the rest of this game. We can do better here, though.
Yeah.
We can fix this one translation thingy, though, and make this better. Yeah, absolutely. And it's perfect.
We can't port this game forward unchanged with the original messaging from 2004 because it is the only thing we could possibly do that would make everyone mad, whether you are a sane person or a horrible bigot.
Right. The other positive thing this has done is it has revitalized Beldum posting. And Beldum posting is one of my favorite things. Because now people are adding Marilyn going guh in between pictures of Beldum with a fucking comic panel speech bubble above her head.
God.
Oh god, that game comes out like tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
So many video games.
I'm gonna have to save that, I think, for later in the year when I have a dry period, because like I've already spent so much money in the preparatory phase for June. I got Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance coming out. I've got Elden Ring DLC coming out. We've got Dawn Trail coming out the tail end of June. I would be remiss to throw another $60 video game on top of all that. I just don't think I can do it.
Especially because like it's an older style JRPG, so like Thousand Year Door isn't like particularly short. Like it isn't particularly long for a JRPG, but it is like average for a JRPG. So it's like 40 to 60 depending on how robust you want to be with the side quests.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think probably a little less than that. I think if you're like unless you're like literally trying to get every single copy of every badge or whatever, I feel like it's like a 30 if you're being really completist in like a normal way.
I think, yeah, this is in the era where like 30, maybe 40 hours, because it is a little bit slower paced. But they've done, I know the remake has done much to correct the backtracking that Thousand Year Door original had
Never
a lot
mind
of.
then. That just immediately takes 10 hours off. That is a 20-hour video game.
Yeah.
Yeah, because what they did is they didn't remove the part where you had to backtrack, but they added an actual, like, no, this is a room in, like, the main underground part in, like, the central area where it just has a pipe to every main area.
Yeah. So, yeah, that'll definitely cut off a lot of time.
Well, the Thousand Year Door already had that. It's just, it was in a roundabout weird area, and now they've made it so that you have a warp pipe to that area quicker. Like, sooner.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, they've done nothing but improve this game. I'm so fucking excited for Paper Mario.
I'm excited to play it in, I don't know, like 4 to 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
When I can make time for it. But I am excited
At
for
some point.
Mm-hmm.
It's a part of my childhood I could not possibly neglect by not getting the remake.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's about it, though.
Yeah.
We are done with
alright.
the news.
We survived somehow.
Play 1,000 times resist.
Yeah.
That's
Weird.
it. That's the actual news. Play that game.
Play that, and if you love your Saturn, for extra credit afterwards, go play Umurangi Generation and its DLC pack macro, and like reflect on the state of living in the world post 2019, and the hell to which we are consigned for eternity.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I love that idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, that'll do it for us. Thank you to Adventuria for use of background music. You can follow us on our social medias. Email us at thegorgepodcast@gmail.com. Join us on the Patreon and the Discord so you can see Sarah's dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come see my dogs.
And...
You know you want to see my dogs?
You know you want to give us $10 a month to see Sarah's dogs.
You want to see my dogs. You want to see my dogs so bad it makes you look stupid.
I have a secret.
Yeah.
Inside that dog posting channel, there's even a picture of an animal that isn't a dog.
Oh.
There are occasionally forbidden cat pictures. Yeah, it's incredible.
The secret cat.
There are secretive cats in my
The
dog
secret.
show. The secret. That's him. That's my boy. That's my cat. He's a secret.
That's what they call that. That's what they call that one game, right? Secrets.
Yeah.
The secrets when they cry. Yeah, for sure.
Exactly. All right, what do we got?
Fuck the
Mimi.
orchard. Fuck the orchard. I'm so sick sick
Put
of being
some-
lost in that goddamn place.
Fuck Mimi the 50.
That's right.
Put some fucking arrows or signs.
Fuck Iris, unless you're the principal, in which case fuck Iris.
Right.
Yeah.
And also,
Or unless you're a space alien, in which case fuck Iris.
yeah, exactly. And I mean, just put a goddamn map in the video. I love the video game. Listen to me. I love it. It's great. Put a map somewhere.
I don't
Put
even
some
think you
little
need a mini-map.
hospital lines on the floor or something,
Yeah.
please.
Yes.
I beg you,
I'm
please, hospital
dying.
lines.
Literally, just do like a mall directory at some point.
Yeah.
Like in 3 or 4 of the spots. That'd be perfect.
Exactly. Like outside of every single one of the sisters' little like zones, right? Like because they each have like a color-coded zone. Outside of each sister's zone and the bar, there needs to be a directory, and
Yeah.
that directory says you are here. And then there's a map. You don't need to be able to open one like in your UI, because like the fucking friction is what makes it fun, right? I get it, but if I had a map to reference even a handful of times, I would have eventually memorized the orchard, right? Because I could be like, oh, I have seen this on the map. I know where to go now. But because there's no map and it's just really big and impossible to navigate, I got lost constantly. So fuck the orchard.
I'm realizing this is like a potentially too complicated thing to suggest for like a small team of game developers, but maybe what you do is make it so that like if you pull up the compass bit where it shows all the pips of where there's people or things you can talk to or interact with, if you just hover your mouse over one of them and then press like the little like memory snap button that lets you like snap to the rings, you just start pathing to it automatically.
That would be nice.
Like if I have to wait to get there, that's fine. I don't need fast travel or whatever. But if you're going to design the building like that, you need to be nice to people like me who have really bad spatial reasoning skills. I can't cut it in this cutthroat world.
It's horrible. It's painful. That's it. Fuck the orchard.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.